series. Again, if you want to tune into some of the other series that are going on right now, Peppy, I'm not too sure who is following. If I were to hazard a guess, Crimson versus Ice. I imagine he's probably there.
Correct, yeah.
No, there we go.
They're currently 1-1.
Ooh, what?
Yeah, they're playing out the third game on Blackburn.
Jesus Christ.
Absolutely insane. But yes, here we are now on Jagannatha KBBLE. Going to be kicking off our... I almost said lower bracket, but hey, another one of our qualifying best of fives here. In the bottom left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player representing the CranKy Ducklings himself, coming down all the way from the land of Brisbane. He is going to make his opponents go, uh-oh, it's Oreo.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Jagannatha ALE, we have a new player on the scene. The purple Terran player, it is Rossi.
Representing Team NV? Question mark?
Team NV. Oh god.
It is NV Rossi.
So we already saw our first qualifying player. Again, I don't know if we emphasized it enough, but Vivid has qualified now for ANZ Champs Season 2. If you're a fan of Akon, do not fret, because there is a lower bracket, so he's still down there fighting for another spot in ANZ Champs.
Indeed, there is, and that he will be. We have an update as well. Chappie being the other qualifying player, taking up Purple Dino 3-0.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they won't be playing. Unfortunately, they're on opposite ends of the bracket, so yeah, we won't be able to see that in ZvT.
That we will not. Vivid, he's waiting for his seeding opponents in Crimson versus Ice. That is a best of 5. That is currently underway, being covered by Peppy. And after this series, we will, I guess we'll take a step back and have a look whether we want to follow Oreo into a seeding match against Chappie, or go into the lower bracket and try and figure out, or try and get on top of who may be the next player qualifying.
Yeah. Generally, the qualifying match would take precedence, but or precedent, but we'll have to see. Some of these matches in the lower bracket can go on for a little while. Me may be waiting quite some time for a qualifying match.
We may. So yeah, we'll try and figure out where we want to go, I should say, after this series. As a reminder, this is still a best of. Oh no, this is a best of 5, right? Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It's a qualifying match.
Oh, there we go. And Rossi is opening up in a very interesting manner.
At the 3-rack 0 add-ons. See this quite a bit in TVP. In TVC, it still happens every now and then, but there's definitely a reason why it's more of a risk.
I'm so surprised at how aggressive Rossi's being with these 4 Marines. Going for the first Overlord makes sense, right? He wants to try and catch this Overlord unawares, but he went past the halfway point across the map. That was so risky. Oh my god.
I guess some Mio Micah vibes with these Marines.
A little bit. In the end, Rossi does turn around and go back home. So if you're wondering, of course, because of the build that Rossi went for, he did skip his Reaper, so he actually hasn't really seen much, or he went for an SCV Scout, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah?
He did.
There we go.
We've got a bit of knowledge on what's going on Oreo's side of the map. Meanwhile, for Oreo, this is a bit of a tell. He gets a Zergling in, he sees that bunker, he sees a ton of Marines, so something is up.
Yep, confirms no third base. Because of all those Marines, he knows it's not a 1-1-1. Now, is it a 3-racks or is it a 2-1-1? That is what he needs to really figure out here. But because of the amount of Marines, I think he probably has pieced it together. We already have a Bailey Nest on the way, so he will have that to defend. And he is going in with his Overlord just to make sure he knows what's happening.
Slow! Keep going!
It's not being denied either, which is I'm surprised about.
I don't expect some of the Marines to be pulled, but yeah, not being denied. And Oreo will confirm it's a 3-rack, so doesn't have to worry about any drops for quite some time.
Yeah, I was about to say that as well. Like, Stim is about to hit, sure, but I would imagine that Rossi wants to wait for his medevacs, right? And then move out with them. But never mind, he's just pushing out with Stim.
Huh. Or he would if he didn't. There we go.
Okay. We're good. He's grouped up. He's got his army.
Is he actually going to start marching across the map? He is.
Oh my god, he's lost his mind.
Oh.
He gets scouted by the Spotterling. We have a lot of lings out here for Oreo, but there are no banelings, not yet.
And there aren't. That's a lot of Marines. Even if they're able to get us around, it's almost a roach situation, isn't it? Where you sort of deny surface area for themselves.
Definitely. Like, that's why banelings are so important, because they're able to break through that wall. And finally, we have a couple being morphed in. Oreo really respecting the Marines. Meanwhile, Rossi faked Oreo out a little bit. Like, he was posturing as if he was looking to push out, but really he was just making sure he got his third up and running and waiting for those medevacs.
And they are here. I guess on the way as well. So yeah, gonna be bit of soul style compared to something a bit more mine heavy. Rossi's still going for drops on the map to clear creep, and there's definitely a lot to clear. Oreo left alone this entire time in the early game, and we see just how out of hand Zerk can get if you don't deny them early on.
Yeah, especially because Oreo, I think I would say, has some of the best creep spread in the region. It can get insane like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we have a bit of a ling run by. There aren't many Marines here to clean this up because the Marines are on the map.
Actually, there aren't any Marines, yeah. Pretty big drop here in the main base. Lings are in position though, and they catch the Marines as they drop. Not enough of them are out of the medevacs. A couple of drones go down, but not a whole lot in the end. Some friendly fire happening. Oh. Yeah, or just auto. No, Emmanuel. No. I was like, whoa, that tank has a lot of range. Or maybe this tank I didn't see it. It's like, wait.
You're like, oh my god, the tank just shelled away 2 screens. Oh my god, it's crazy.
The tank took a gamble. It shot into the air and it hit something.
Look, there's a reason why I unbound the manual detonation. Okay?
Yeah.
Thankfully, it was only like 3 banelings, right? Like it could have been worse.
You're gonna have that chat with Oreo after this, aren't you?
Aye. Meanwhile, the Ling Bane is coming in. Yo, there's no tanks in position. He's getting surrounded.
And the Banes are able to hammer through. Only a single tank behind that line. Another tank now being produced. That's kind of a problem when you're going 3 racks like this, isn't it? Your factory and your tank production is so delayed. Oreo's not even going all the way. He knows that he can just starve Rossi out on 2 bases until he's comfortable enough to push in.
Pretty much, just keep denying the 3rd base. That's all you need to do. You don't have to overextend. And now he dives in the wall. Ooh, it's not a wall! No!
Not at all. And now it's doubly not a wall. GG is called, and Oreo takes game number 1. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. GG, well played there. He does take game 1, but again, game 1 in a best of 5.
Yep.
I do want to say that I love that Rossi was being cheeky, right, with a very unorthodox opener, 3 racks, right? Like, that's what you want to do. That's what you need to do against one of these pro players if you want to take a game and maybe even take a series.
Yeah, you can't be relying on the send builds all the time. I mean, even at the higher level, you know, you can't just play standard every single time. No player. I was gonna say no player does the same thing every game and wins, but you know, thinking back, Rain kind of did that. So, but then he did get a lot better when he stopped doing that. So, or he got better results when he stopped doing that. So. But still, he got results still doing the same build every single game. So
yeah, he really did. Like, it'd be crazy if
all
Rossi,
matchups.
Yeah, if he went for a 3x opener again, right?
Well, if we'll remember a certain Singaporean Terran player going by the name of Hiro, Hiro. who did do that every single game. That wasn't a TVT.
He
And you know what? It did work out for him like half the time, so... Here's where you find out that Rossi is actually like Hero's Australian cousin or something.
Could be. We'll find out. We'll find out as we are loading into game number 2. I also want to give a bit of a shout out to Vivid in the chat. For the people who are watching, Vivid_SC in the Twitch chat. That is Vivid, who we just saw qualify for ANZ Champs. Give him plenty of love. Again, tuning in while he's waiting for his next match.
Congrats again, Vivid.
Yeah, good job, Vivid.
A very impressive series. And speaking of series, we are now here in our second map in our second qualifying series, or at least the one that we're casting here. We'll be looking for the third or maybe fourth player to qualify for ANZ Champs 2021 Season 2. Is it gonna be in the bottom right hand corner map, starting in the bottom right hand corner of Lightshade LE, the Blues player coming out for Lad of Brisbane? He is the king of Brisbane. I think that has been undisputed. Azure kind of gave up the crown there, and he is. I mean, Azure is kind of happy being the champion of Oreo right now, doing his fighting his battles when he's unavailable. He is representing our very own CranKy Ducklings, Oreo.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Australian Terran. He is purple, representing himself and Team NV, question mark. It is Rossi.
It's kind of like how we talked a little bit about it. We went a little bit into it. The Chinese teams don't have in-game clan tags. So I guess Rossi decided to take a page there and be like, all right, if I can't be in the in-game clan, then, you know.
He took it upon himself, mate. There you go. Oh, God. So, yeah, interesting. Once again, he is skipping that Reaper.
Yeah. Marine first, but we'll see. That's actually a very forward position to put a Marine.
It really is. Like if there was a pool first opening and things were coming across the map, like I think Rossi, his Marines would die and he'd be forced to cancel his natural. Like this is so risky. But high risk, high reward. He wants to try and catch an Overlord.
Mate, he is dedicated, this man. He's a hunter at work.
Oh yeah.
Lying in ambush, waiting to pounce on top of those overlords.
That he is. Meanwhile, there is a factory, not a second Rax on the way. Oh.
Okay. But this is still going to be a very marine-heavy style. I'm thinking 2-on-1. I mean, that factory is very far in the back. He's not going to be add-on switching at all, is he?
We could even see, like, with this commitment to Marines, 2-on-1 would work. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if he like throws down an armory behind this, just for, like a Marine Hellbat push or something.
Yeah, definitely a possibility here. It's got a lot of options. Rossi does. It's actually gonna be a mine first.
My
Widowmine drop in TVZ as an opening.
Okay. It's something that you don't see often, but you know what? Because you don't see it often, maybe it'll work.
It very much might. Okay.
Oh, never mind.
It's a defensive win of mine. All right. Okay, then.
Rossi, please, you're teasing us. We were excited. We wanted.
Chat didn't see it, but I had such a big smile on my face when I saw the win of mine in the Starport in production.
Yeah. I
can recreate it later on, probably.
Oh god. Meanwhile,
he's gonna add-on swap.
He is. Interesting add-on swap because of the positioning of his original buildings. Like if Oreo had tried to scout, it would have been difficult to scout, but he didn't. He hasn't sent an Overlord anywhere near his opponent's bases because he's respecting the Marine opener. He doesn't want to lose them needlessly. But yeah, this is just an interesting opener all around from Rossi.
That it is. That it is.
Okay.
Going for... I'm thinking a bit of a multi-prong here. Marines in the mine in the main and Hellions in natural, but he doesn't have many Hellions.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's why this push is so awkward. Like, quote unquote push. Like, the Hellions, they're going to be trying to sneak in, but the Queens are here to help push them away. But again, these are a distraction. The Queens are on the front line, and the drop is going into the main. We'll see how much damage this can get done.
Oh, just scouted here the last second by Oreo, so he can still pull quite a number of his lings to deal with this. Rossi, you need to go, you need to go!
Oh my god, he's going in at the same time. The Hellions try and sneak into the base, and yo, they get 4 drone kills, but they will get picked off. The Widowmine will borrow it. Up.
And it will get quite a number of lings, actually. 4 Marines survive, and that's enough to be annoying, but not too much beyond that. I do like that Rossi is still being very active with those Hellions. He actually got quite a number of drone kills with them, but yeah, unfortunately, the drop, that was a pretty expensive drop too this early on.
Yeah.
It kind of get wasted.
That's what I'm worried about. Like, look at the army supply. Like, that was a lot of supply that was spent on that harassment, and that means that there's not a lot of time to defend. And that wall isn't a wall, by the way, right? Like,
Is
I think
it not?
I think they can slip through.
No, they can't. It is solvable. No, maybe. I don't know, but regardless, this CC should go down. You can't repair a building.
Oh my god, we do have a forced denial there on the CC. Thankfully, it was not a kill, but now Rossi is stuck on 2 aces.
He is for such a long time too, and meanwhile Oreo doesn't have to worry about much. He, again, is going to be left alone on his side of the map for quite some time. He's getting the 4th base up, and look at that creep spread already. My god.
Yeah, it's getting insane, it's getting out of control, and this is what happens when you don't open up with those Hellions that we typically see in this matchup when you skip and go for that Marine heavy style. Speaking of Marine heavy style, we got that's a lot of axes. That's a lot of axes.
Yeah, this is a man who likes his Marines, which, you know, can you really blame him? Man of gun.
It's pretty OP. It's understandable, right? Because his 3rd base was denied and delayed, he has to spend his minerals on something, right? So, yeah, his production explosion is on the way. 3rd CC is on the way as well. But he is giving up map control to Oreo, as we can see.
It's probably the last thing you want to do. It's not something you want to do in general in a TBZ, but against Oreo especially. Yeah, that's gonna hit doubly hard.
It really is. Meanwhile, thankfully Rossi is harassing a little bit. He does send a Liberator across the map, does get a couple of drone kills, but only 2 so far. Thankfully, he keeps the Liberator alive, so he could try and get a couple more as the game progresses.
Yeah, especially if he's going to be distracting Oreo with this drop coming down. A lot of mines in that one, so definitely a bit more dedicated. Will have to get damage with this one, otherwise it's kind of a waste.
He really will. The Liberator, trying to sneak over towards the natural base. Has to be careful. There's another Spore in position where he does just barely avoid it.
There's an angle here to be had, denying a couple of these gas mining drones in the main base. No, the legs are already in position.
Oreo heals on top of everything. Meanwhile, the Widowmines, they do not burrow. Nice hot pickup. Only a couple of Marines go down, and now he's trying to head over towards the 3rd, but the Baileys they're waiting.
Oh, I love this position. No! I thought for a second that was on the cliff. I was like, that is so smart. The mines, they can just chip away at the 3rd base, but it was on the low ground, unfortunately, and such a good defense from Oreo here, not losing anything really, just a couple of lings and a baneling. I don't think he lost a single drone.
Yeah, exactly. The defense was impeccable there by Oreo. Meanwhile, he's getting ready for the counterattack. He has to be careful. There are 3 Widowmines over towards the 3rd base, but there's just so much ling bane.
The mines, when they get the perfect connections, will be able to ignite us, but the connections are just slightly less than perfect, which unfortunately is enough for Oreo to snowball. Absolute chaos in the 3rd, in the natural, or, well, soon to be in the natural.
Exactly. Perfect connections are exactly what Rossi needed, and he did not have them. The 3rd base is forced to be lifted up, evacuated. All the SCVs are going down, and the wall is being broken down. Oreo, he's trying to break through, but he just barely cannot.
Yeah, probably could have, but he would have lost a lot of lings in trying to take down that wall. So understandable that he decided to back away a little bit. I just realized the armory is only now underway for Rossi.
Yeah,
no!
I noticed that as well. He doesn't need detection. The Baileys crash in. GG gets called.
Oreo now a match point. looking prime to qualify here, isn't he?
And man, there's a reason why we said that Oreo was was looking favored to breeze his way through the qualifiers, and here we can see it all come to fruition. Oreo, dominant player here, but it's not over yet. It's not over yet.
That it is not. I'm really excited to see what Rossi pulls out of his bag of tricks here.
I am as well. Meanwhile, oh my god, thank you so much, Pig, for the raid. Yeah, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed your stream. I hope you had a good time. For those who are just tuning in, these are the ANZ Champs qualifiers for Season 2. This is the second qualifier. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you want to have a look at the Wikipedia page and have a look at all the qualified players. Again, we're just kind of rounding things up here, finding out who will be the final ones. And here we are in a qualifying match.
Yeah, for anyone wondering, over in Pig's stream, Piglet did qualify last week. So
he did.
Won't be seeing him here today, but does mean that he has a bit of a weight off his bag, doesn't he?
He does. So, yes, Pig's little brother, he's already through. He had a hard time, but he made it through in the end. Went all the way to the ace match against Starduck. I gotta plug our boy a little bit there.
Was that when Starduck told us? He was like, all right, since I already qualified, I'm just going to cannon rush 5 games in a row so I can get back to Kerrigan survival.
That's exactly what he said, yes.
Starduck, please.
Oh, God. But yes, a lot of the favorites are already through, but there are a couple remaining, right? The big names are players like Oreo, Vivid just qualified, Crimson, and Chappie. They're on their way Chappie's already qualified.
There you go.
But there's still a couple of others. I think Crimson is also still mid-series.
No, actually, Crimson just took out Ice, so yeah, him and Vivid are going to be playing their seeding match.
Wow.
So 3 players already qualified, 3 spots left. Soon to be 2 spots left if Oreo keeps this up.
Oh boy, let's go. Let's see if we're gonna see a clean sweep or if his opponent can somehow bring it back.
That we shall. I'm hoping he does. It's a very interesting Terran player to say the least, but that is enough about him. We are now continuing a series here on 2000 Atmospheres LE. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have the Blues player coming down from the land of Brisbane. He is the king of Brisbane himself. I'm hoping he's wearing his rugby robe, because that would just be fitting, wouldn't it? Representing our very own team, the CranKy Ducklings. He is going to make his opponents go, uh-oh, Oreo.
Get your copy pastas in the chat. Meanwhile, spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the Australian Terran. He is purple, representing himself and quote-unquote Team NV, Kappa. It is Rossi.
And just looking at chat here, it seems like Zeph may or may not know something about Rossi, so yeah, if we still have time here, do enlighten us if you will.
Yes, it's either Rossi, as in she was surprised there was another player here, or Rossi, as in she knew who he was and surprised he was here. Yeah, if anyone knows anything about this player, let us know. It's our first time casting him. We're not very familiar with him. It's his first time competing in these qualifiers. Again, we were talking about it earlier today. It was one of those things where we saw a couple of returning players like Snow as well, who showed up and they're back for the Season 2 qualifiers.
Yeah, all them old 1F Pro boys. Heading back in. Oh my god! Rossi's opening with a Reaper!
Oh, when you freaked out, I was like, what is happening? Standard play. Oh.
What a madman.
Exactly. For those wondering, Rossi has been having some very interesting openers this series. Game 1, it was a 3 racks. Game 2, he's still committed to a Marine first, and this is the first time this series where this man is making a Reaper.
I almost don't believe it. Gotta pinch myself.
Oh god, is this really Rossi playing right now? Oh my god.
See what he's able to get away with by playing standard. I mean, I don't know. I'm finding it a little bit difficult to pin down Rossi just because we've only seen 2 of his games so far.
True.
Hard to really get a taste of his strengths and how he likes to play. I will say he has he is unrelenting on harass, and he does have a very good sense of how to multi-prong and how to distract his opponents to come in and deal some damage. Unfortunately, just because of his builds and whatnot, he hasn't really had much supply to do so.
Yeah, maybe in my mind at least, I'm thinking that maybe Rossi, the first 2 games, he opened up very aggressively because he's up against a player like Oreo, right? And he wants to maybe try and sneak out a cheeky win. But now that he's up against the wall, now maybe we're seeing something more standard. He's like, okay, now I just want to see how my standard play can shape up against someone of the caliber of Oreo, right? Just to kind of test himself, I guess. So we'll see what he goes for here. If he does anything crazy, if we have a 3rd base on time. Interesting, opening up 1-1-1, but not going for the Banshee.
Oh, so going for the brick?
Oh my god.
Those of you unaware, that's a build where you go mass Hellions, like it's 8 Hellions at the start. Go for Viking at first to clear up Overlords here and there, followed by a Liberator. That is just to really secure you to map control. As you do nothing but try to max out on Marine, Tank, Medevac, and 2-2 as quickly as possible.
I know that's become like your go-to in this matchup, right, Yaku? The break. Yeah. We'll see.
That's what's introduced to me.
Yeah, interesting. Behind this, Rossi actually throws down a couple extra Vaxes. Oreo does scout all of this, by the way, with his Overlord.
Yeah, he does. He is probably scratching his head a little bit here. He's like, wait, what? He's playing standard?
Yeah, there's nothing too crazy in the main. The Hellions, they try to dip in. A couple of Hellions do get picked off, and they do not find a way up the ramp. Not yet. But what's important is, as you were saying, like the Hellion production is not stopping.
That it is not. Actually very dedicated to this. I'm clearing up creep left and left and right. So it's just, again, securing the map control is super important to have in TBC. Extra important against Oreo.
Yeah, and the problem is that Oreo has been so, like, defensive with his queens. He keeps meeting those Hellions, and the creep spread isn't being slowed down that much. It is a little bit, to be fair, but again, like, Oreo's queen control has been on point. He even goes across the map. Oh my god, can he force a delay on this 3rd base? He's trying to focus down the SCV. Oh my god.
And he will get that delay. The majority of Rossi's army was very forward in the map, forced to pull back the Hellions too. This gives Oreo a lot of breathing room. I like what you were saying, the creep spread has been controlled a little bit. It's only halfway across the map instead of all the way across the map.
Yeah, exactly, and now finally Rossi's moving out across the map, not just with his Hellions, but a couple of Marines as well. Stim is completed, by the way, and can he finally force his way up? The Banelings, oh my god, they just finished up for Oreo.
They did, unfortunately, no armory here, so the Hellions are unable to morph into Hellbats, but still, good enough connections will completely melt these Zerglings.
That they are, but you know what, Oreo, he doesn't really commit. He just forces him off creep for the time being, and Rossi has to be careful. Oh my god, as the links are coming in.
Widowmine's coming in from the back. If they can burrow, it'll be insane. But Oreo does get a surround on every single one of these Marines, as well as the Hellions, and tables are starting to really turn here as Oreo retakes the map control.
Yeah, unfortunately, those Widowmines, they didn't borrow. There was maybe a little bit of a pathing issue there as they kind of went the long way around, and yeah, they weren't really a part of the fights. The Marines were cleaned up.
I was kind of hoping it's intentional, and
I was hoping as well.
the mines would be able to flank, but then I realized it's hard to do. It's hard to pull off without drilling claws.
Yeah, oh god, and now Oreo, he doesn't just have his 4th base up, he's getting a 5th base behind this as well, because why the hell not? He's getting a macro hatch. Like, it's just, the Ling Bane production is going to be insane here. He doesn't even necessarily need to take up into those mutas.
That he does not. Rossi's setting up his defensive setup. It'd be pretty tough for Oreo to break into that for now, but he doesn't need to. He is sort of running away with the economy as he sets up a 5th base.
Oh god, exactly. And we do see that Oreo actually doesn't pull the trigger. He doesn't go for the bases, instead he backs off. And understandable, right? We do have a couple of drops moving out across the map. He's going to be here to meet them, though. These drops, I don't see them doing too much.
I like this for Oreo. He doesn't patrol the links just yet. He wants to wait for the Marines to land so he can get the Baneling connection, but a hot pickup will be the end of that. Rossi keeps those units alive and will be able to get quite a bit done with them if he... Oh! The drones are all in position! The Queens are actually body blocking them!
Oh my god, exactly. At the same time, we do have another drop here at the 3rd base. A couple more drones get picked off, so finally Rossi is dealing some economic damage.
Quite a lot, but yeah, not very efficiently, to say the least.
Not really, especially because that drop was cleaned up. The medevac was focused down as well. He's trying to stim in with a couple Marines and he's getting more drones, but oh my god, he has to be careful. The link bait is already here.
Decent connection there with the Banelings, but hot pickup will save the rest of Rossi's bio. Oh! The wall is on the wall! But Rossi, it doesn't, or Oreo rather, doesn't commit once he sees Rossi's bio. Once again, going for a very Ling Bane heavy style until he finishes up his hive. So Rossi's just looking to take absolute advantage of the lack of anti-air while he can.
Yeah, that he is. And I feel like he has been able to, for the most part, been able to do that. But the problem is that Oreo, there's a reason for that, right? He's going straight into Hive. He's looking to go into Ultras. Yeah. Will the game last long enough where that's going to come into play? We'll see. But Rossi is on a bit of a timer, right? Because at a certain point, you know, they're going to be coming out and he doesn't necessarily have the answer to them.
I feel like the time might already be up pretty soon.
Oh boy.
Well, mine's in one location. Oreo is just trying to find a way to surround this army. If these mines pop off, it's going to be absolutely huge. Ooh. Very quick reaction from Oreo here. Pulls away. Forced to find another way around. But now the mines have been dealt with. It's really not a lot stopping these Banelings from crashing into the Marines.
They crash into everything, including the tanks. It's not the most efficient Bailey connections, but mate, it doesn't even matter. He gets into the mineral line. The entire SCV line is going to go down here. What is there left to stop the Lings? There's only a handful of Marines coming out. There are no more Widow Mines, no more tanks.
And the wall ain't even a wall no more. As Lynx are streaming on in. Oreo, he's thrown away his D key. He needs nothing but the Ultra Cavern now being made light, but it's as he said, it won't even come into play.
Yeah, he doesn't even need the Ultras. GG gets called, and Oreo will take the series 3-0.
He qualifies.
GG.
Very well played here, yeah. I mean, we all knew that Oreo was the favorite going into this, but that was pretty dominant, I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, you know, look, there's a reason why Oreo is a cranky duckling, okay? As he does take the series 3-0. He qualifies for ANZ Champs, and now he will be going up against a player who's there in the Twitch chats. Shout out to Chappy_SC, as he is there in the Twitch chat, keeping, you know, spying on his upcoming opponent, as he will be facing Oreo in a seeding match.